child support is not for just when somebody asks for it. We know that a child eats, has needs like electricity for AC or heating. I understand maybe you think Miss Rios is going to run off with your money and go on a yacht somewhere. I don't know.
Okay, so that would be $7,312. Is that what you're asking for back child support?
Yes.
Okay. And ma'am, how is the child covered for health insurance?
He has Medicaid.
And ma'am, do you have health insurance available through your job?
No, I'm actually not working right now. I stay home and take care of Braylon.
Okay. And ma'am, do you understand that the state is requesting that the father pay $169 a month in medical support beginning in June?
Yes.
And are you in agreement to that?
Yes.
And ma'am, are you asking that you be the one to designate where the child lives within Dallas and surrounding counties?
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to tell the court today?
No, I don't think there's anything else.
Pass the witness. I call the father, Darius Jordane. Sir, could you state your full name?
Darius Kelly Jordane.
And sir, has there been any family violence between you and Natalie Rios?
Other than the situation that she just presented, though.
What happened during that incident that Miss Rios had described?
Exactly how she described it.
Okay, and why were the police called?
The owner of the house decided to call the police.
Okay, so the two of you, is that the home that you were living in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you were living with someone at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And sir, is it correct that you spent some time in jail due to that incident?
Yes, ma'am.
How long did you spend in jail?
I'm not sure, but it wasn't long at all.
Okay. Did Miss Rios press charges against you for that incident?
I don't believe so, because they didn't tell her that they were even taking me, so I don't think charges were pressed.
Okay. And sir, was there mutual violence towards each other during that incident, or were you the only aggressor in that situation?
I would say we were both mutual in the situation, but I don't fully remember the entire situation because it was 4 years ago.
Okay. And sir, since that time, there has been no family violence between the two of you, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that was over 4 years ago?
4.5 years ago.
Okay, and sir, do you believe that you and Miss Rios are able to make decisions about the needs of the child?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, are you asking that the court appoint you joint managing conservators?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, are you in agreement for you to have the standard possession schedule with exchange at her mother's house?
Yes, ma'am. We've been doing it like that without court, so yes.
Okay. And sir, the state had calculated child support at $300 a month. Would you be in agreement to that amount?
No, ma'am.
Can you tell the court why you don't agree to that amount?
Me and Ms. Rios had a verbal agreement about the situation that we're supposed to have a verbal agreement about the situation to where I don't have any problem paying anything to her. Like I don't have any problem, but at the moment I did not have a place of my own to stay. So I had to conserve a lot of my money in order to get my apartment, and I just got my apartment. So the agreement was that when I got on my feet that I would be able to help more. And I'm just now, it has been a couple of years, but I'm just now getting on my feet. I may have taken a little too long, but I'm fine now. So me and her had a verbal agreement that we would come up with our own type of deal, considering the fact that we already co-parent and we already have the situation to where she brings Braylon to her mom's house and I'll pick him up from there. We've been doing that for years without any of this type of assistance. So
Sir,
that is my,
is it correct that you make around $1,882.45 a month?
not anymore. I would say less than that. Calculated
Okay.
less.
And sir, are you aware that that's what the state found
Yes, ma'am.
for your income?
Yes, ma'am. But I told them that the current job that I withhold now is a contractor. The person that I work for is a contractor, so I get paid in cash. I'm not technically on a W-2 or a W-4 or a 1099 or anything like that at the moment.
Where were you working at the beginning of this year?
At the beginning of this year, I was working in Garland. I was at M&M around March. The job before that, I've been around, so I don't remember anything before January, I would say. But M&M, I was there, and then I left and did an out-of-town job. And then I came back to M&M, and then I went to a contractor after that.
Do you
And
get
around, excuse me,
do you get paid hourly or by salary?
hourly.
What's your hourly rate?
Sometimes it ranges between 10 to 11 hours. If we're lucky, 12 to 13 hours, but most of the time, 10 or 11, around that area.
Can you
Hello?
say that again, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Most of the time we work 10 or 11-hour shifts, but if we're lucky, we get 12 to 13 hours.
How much do you make per hour?
Almost 11 is like 1070, 1079. I believe.
And how many hours a week do you get?
40. Sometimes overtime is every other weekend.
And sir, is it correct that you have no other children?
No, ma'am. I do have another child that was just born
When was the child born?
on the 9th.
Of May?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, have you been established as the legal father of that child?
At the time, right now, I couldn't physically sign the form because I had to go to an out-of-town job, but legally, I am the father, yes.
Okay, sir, have you signed an acknowledgement of paternity for the child?
I have not been there to physically sign anything yet.
Are you married to the mother of the child?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And sir, I calculated your income based on the 1070, 40 hours a week, and that came out to $1,854.66.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's relatively close to the amount that we had calculated earlier.
Okay. I don't calculate
Okay.
things.
And sir, does that child live with you? The new child?
When I get back, yes, but at the moment, since I'm not in town, no. And I go back in town Memorial weekend.
Where do you live?
I live in, it counts as Garland, but Dallas, I guess. It's on the borderline between Garland and Dallas. It's, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm like probably 7 or 8 minutes from the state fair.
Okay, and sir, you said that you're out of town. Is that for work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so where do you stay when you're out of town?
Well, I stay in a hotel.
What
I have
city?
to pay for my own room and board. Right now we are in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin.
Okay. Sir, are you in agreement to the retroactive child support judgment of $7,312?
Yeah, no.
Have you provided more than $350 for the needs of the child in the past 4 years?
To her, to specifically Ms. Rios, I would probably say she's right about that, but the rest of my money has gone to physical things for him, as far as like shoes and clothes and pants and stuff like that. Sometimes the wrong size, but most of the time I don't give her the money because I spend it on him. But if there's like a specific need they actually like that she needs for something pertaining her and him, I'll give it to her if I have it. But most of the money has gone to the physical things for him, like specifically for him.
How much would you estimate you've spent in the past 4 years for the needs of the child?
That's over 1,000 to say.
So you want
I would,
credit for
I would say
$1,000?
I would say over 1,000. Just well, as far as needs, I would probably say about 500 to 600 at the time, but wants probably overtakes the needs. Specifically, his wants would take over the needs. I would say that, but it's definitely over 5 and 600. It's at least 1,000.
Sir, would you be in agreement to pay the child support judgment off at $90 a month?
No,
You think that's too high?
no. I just feel like I can handle this agreement with specifically her and not without the court's help is what I'm basically saying. I'm not saying that I cannot pay it. I'm basically saying that I feel as if me and her are grown enough to handle this on our own is what I'm saying. Not saying that it's too high or it's too much is what I'm saying.
You're stating that you don't want an order, is that correct?
Basically.
Okay.
I'm basically saying that me and her can come to our own individual verbal agreement without the state's help or without the state, I guess.
And sir, are you aware that the state is providing the health insurance for the child?
Yes, that I have no problem paying if it's for his medical, you know.
So sir,
That's
do you have any health insurance available through your job to cover the child?
not at the moment, not the one that I'm attending now.
Okay, and sir, are you in agreement to the medical support of $169 a month?
Yes,
Sir, are you comfortable with the mother having a non-disclosure of her address?
yes, ma'am.
Are you comfortable with your address and phone number being included in the order?
No, ma'am.
Why do you not want your information in the order?
I believe that everyone has their right to privacy.
And sir, do you understand that under state law, that information is required to be provided to the other parent?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Pass the witness.
Okay, let's face reality here. It hasn't worked. That's why we're here. Number two, there's government assistance, so no one's doing it on their own. Everybody's asking for the state for help. So we're gonna do a child support order because of those two very important reasons. We looked at, if we just even look at just what's been provided for the last 4 years or so, it's almost $8,000 should have been paid. And if I look at it based on what you're saying, Mr. Jordane, you're gonna pay it about 1,000 or so. So there's a $6,000 difference there. So that goes to show that if y'all do things on your own, it doesn't work because there's a big difference there. So I'm not doing a no child support order. That doesn't make any sense. I'm making a finding regarding the family violence that there's been no family violence within the last 2 years. Y'all have both reported that y'all can work together to raise your child together. So I'm appointing Ms. Rios to be the conservator to decide where the child lives primarily, and that for y'all to be joint managing conservators. Standard visitation with the exchanges at the maternal grandmother's residence. The reason we have addresses have to be shared is so that y'all can communicate better. I don't understand why y'all are not wanting that. No, you don't have a right to privacy if it's your child. Y'all need to be able to share information with each other because y'all are both parents. Now, if there's some family violence issues that are occurring now, then I need to do a non-disclosure today. That's what I need to hear, but I haven't heard that y'all have had any concerns at all in the last 4 years. So y'all are ordered to provide each other your current residence information. That means if you move around, Mr. Jordane, to a hotel, you got to send her a text or email. This is my address. She's got to do the same. And that's important. That goes towards the communication that y'all are saying that y'all are able to do. You need to be able to know where the child is. The other reality, Mr. Jordane, is sounds like you're job to job. So I don't know how any other outside agreement would even work when you're not working. We have to understand one thing about child support. Child support is not for just when somebody asks for it. We know that a child eats, has needs like electricity for AC or heating, needs a place to live, needs water to drink, needs food, needs maybe a parent to have a cell phone in case of emergency, needs transportation. I mean, I don't understand why we don't have that understanding. A child needs all of those things. So we don't need a parent to ask for those things because we already know that a child needs all those things. So if Ms. Rios didn't ask, that doesn't mean that you didn't have an obligation to do those things. I understand maybe you think Ms. Rios is going to run off with your money and go on a yacht somewhere. I don't know, but that's not going to happen with the amount of child support you're paying or should have paid in the past. It's not a lot of money. It's just paying basically basic needs. You want to pay more than that on your own. In addition to that, then you're definitely welcome to do that. But child support's get set at $300 a month based on your income. I did the math as well. They initially told me your income was $1,882. And then you testified, Mr. Jordane, about your income. And I came up with $1,854. So there's maybe a $30 difference. You do some overtime. So I'm doing that the $1,882. That's your income. It might be higher sometimes when you do overtime, but that's the number that we're using to calculate support. So child support is $300 a month. Child support is $300 a month, whether you work or not. It's $300 a month, whether y'all are friendly or not. So understand that if you do not make a payment, that's going to be added onto a judgment, and eventually we'll be back in court to enforce that order, possibly to ask for you to go to jail. I don't want that to happen. I'm sure Ms. Rios doesn't want that to happen. Make sure the payments are made through the child support office. If you decide to do your own thing and pay it directly to the mother, you are not going to get credit for any of those payments because we're not going to have any proof of the payments. So you have to make payments through the child support office, whether you like that or not. I understand you don't like that, but that's not your choice. Retroactive judgment, I gave you another $312 of taken off that balance. So that leaves a balance of $7,000 even. You need to pay that at $75 a month. Yet right now, neither one of you have private insurance available to you at a reasonable cost. So the Ms. Rios will apply for government medical through Medicaid or CHIPS. Medical support is $169 a month. Court costs as billed. Now I know I guess you're in Wisconsin now, I guess is where you are temporarily on your job. We have a program called Choices that is on the Zoom call right now that I can refer you to if you want to do that. They might be able to find you something in Texas. It is dependent on you being a resident of Dallas County. It sounds like you are a resident of Dallas County, except that you're leaving to go to work here and there. It's not required or mandated, but if you want to be involved in the program and have to court order you into it, there is no cost. And they might be able to find you something that's higher paying and might be in Texas or in DFW area. Mr. Jordane, do you understand that that's available to you?
Yes, sir.
Are you wanting to be involved in that program so they can help you find a job over here?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, what is your answer?
No, sir.
You said no?
Yes, sir. No.
Okay. Well, that tells me a lot about your case. Because if I
Yes,
were
sir.
you, I'd want to get a job. I want to get some help so I come back home. But okay. All right. That's the court order that has to be obeyed by both of you. So we got to make payments. I don't want to have y'all wind up back in court again in the future, but it sounds like that's probably what's going to happen in the future. All right. So prove me wrong, make your payments every month. The Attorney General's office will draft an order and email you both a copy. Y'all are done with court. You can press leave on the Zoom to exit out. Thank you.
Permission to ask one question?
Yes, sir.
So the $70 that you said, that's in addition to the 300?
I said $75, and that's an addition to the
75?
300.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Y'all are excused. You can press leave on the Zoom to exit out. Thank you.
Thank you.